All right, good evening, everybody. It is, today is Thursday, June 8th at 6:30 PM. We're in the Berlin Room. This is a regular meeting of the Olentangy Schools Board of Education. I'll call the meeting to order. Mr. Jenkins, please call the roll.
Mr. Lester?
Here.
Dr. Dabrico?
Here.
Mr. O'Brien?
Here.
Dr. Wise?
Here.
Dr. Wallach?
Here.
All right, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll now entertain a motion to approve the agenda as written. We have no amendments, so could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion on the agenda? All right, seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Lester?
Yes.
Dr. Dabrico?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Dr. Wise?
Yes.
Dr. Wallach?
Yes.
All right, we'll go right to the board president's report. So, Mr. Lester, you have a few things you want to update us on?
Yep. Last night we had both the facilities committee meeting and the student mental health and well-being committee. For facilities, everything is moving according to plan for Berlin Middle. We are still on track to open right for the school year. We'll have an opening celebration before that, but everything's looking good. We're moving stuff in and ready to go. We're also continuing to plan for for the rapid expansion that we're seeing as we've been talking the past several meetings. We are seeing lots of new people moving into the district, which means that we have needs for making sure that we have places to put everyone. So we'll be continuing to talk about that, but it remains an issue that we'll be examining as we go on. The Student Mental Health and Wellbeing Committee, we started it last summer as a one-year ad hoc committee, and last night we had our final regular meeting of that group. We have a series of recommendations that we spent about 2 hours finalizing last night, and look forward to bringing those at the July board meeting, and we'll talk about what is next for that and what all of those things mean at that meeting. So
Right.
that's it.
So we're going to make sure we get that added as an agenda item for next meeting.
Yep.
Good. All right, anyone else? No? All right. That's it for the board president's report. We'll go right into our first presentation item. I believe we have two presentation items tonight. The first is a community partner recognition.
So I'm going to
Going to go up there? Right. Us to recognize people that give a lot of their time and effort to the district and support the district. So it kind of rivals the student recognition, but the partner recognition is really good too.
Good. Hello again, everyone. I'm Brandon Lester, Olentangy Schools Board of Education Vice President, and tonight the board's going to recognize community members who have given their time and talents to enrich our schools. The board established the Community Service Awards in 1986. I'm not going to say how old I was at that point, but to honor community residents who have had a major impact on our children's education through their volunteer efforts or significant monetary or in-kind donations. I will name each of these award winners and read to you some comments provided by those who nominated them. When your name is called, please come forward to accept your award and have your photo taken with our new superintendent, Todd Meyer. These are the first pictures with community members, so these are collector items. And board president, Kevin O'Brien. We'd also like to take a group picture with all of our Outstanding Community Service Award winners, so after everything's presented, please gather for a group photo. All right, first, Melissa Axtell, nominated by Berkshire Middle School. Melissa Axtell has been a member of the Berkshire Middle PTO and has served as the president through some of the school's most challenging years. She has always been dedicated to the students and staff. Melissa has volunteered countless hours to pull the Berkshire Parent-Teacher Organization through the situation COVID left them in. She improved and started new opportunities for the students and staff and collaborated with teachers and administration in such a way that brought the groups together as a team. Her perseverance, dedication, countless hours at the building, and smiling face will be missed at Berkshire. Jamie Byerly. nominated by Tyler Run Elementary. Jamie Byerly has been incredibly involved in the Tyler Run Elementary School PTO for several years. She has led many committees, been a leader in planning the yearly fundraiser, and served as PTO co-president. Her friendly, supportive, empathetic demeanor has made her a true pleasure for the staff at Tyler Run to work with. Olentangy Schools and Tyler Run Elementary would like to thank her for the endless hours of work she has put in to make all students and staff feel special. Shannon Daniels, nominated by Wyandotte Run Elementary School. Shannon Daniels has spent numerous years helping teachers at Wyandotte Elementary School with a variety of tasks. Her friendly, sweet demeanor has made it a true pleasure to work with her. She will be missed by the staff and administration as her youngest moves on to middle school. Wyandotte Run would like to thank Shannon for all of her hard work and acknowledge the many hours of volunteer work she provided. Steve Klein, nominated by Olentangy Berlin High School. Steve Klein is a faithful friend of Berlin High School and continues to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Bears wearing double blue. Steve has made homecoming dances great through his service and donations. He's provided additional spirit to pep rallies and lights up the Bear at the school stadium every time Berlin scored a touchdown over the years, and there have been many. Steve truly is a selfless person and is a great member of the Bear family. On behalf of everyone at 3140 Berlin Station Road and Olentangy Schools, we thank Steve Klein. Christy Last, nominated by Tyler Run Elementary School. Christy Last has been incredibly involved in the Tyler Run Elementary School PTO for several years. She has led many committees, been PTO co-president, and has been an amazing artist who has gone above and beyond to beautify Tyler Run inside and out. Her extravagant displays for the school's yearly book fair are truly a sight to behold. I would like to see these. I love a good book fair display. Yeah, that's awesome. The staff and administration at Tyler Run would like to thank her for the endless hours of work she has put in to make students and staff feel special. Press Church Powell Campus, accepted by Vicki Schwartz, nominated by the Scioto Ridge Elementary School. Press Church has been a great community partner to Scioto Ridge Elementary. When hosting large events throughout the school year, they welcome the school to share their parking lot so families have a safe place to park. When the school year began, they held a teacher supply drive with their congregation. The Rams teachers were welcomed back to school with tables of supplies to choose from. Through another donation drive, Press Church provided needed wipes, tissues, and paper towels for classrooms. Scioto Ridge Elementary School is thankful to be neighbors and community partners with Press Church. The award is accepted this evening by Vicki Schwartz, who spearheaded efforts to connect with Scioto Ridge Elementary and personally connected with the staff. Beth Sleeper, nominated by Freedom Trail Elementary School. Beth Sleeper is a wonderful asset to Freedom Trail Elementary. She is incredibly involved in the parent-teacher organization and is strongly committed to the students of Freedom Trail Elementary. Beth makes the building a fun place to be. The administrators and staff of Freedom Trail deeply appreciate her hard work and dedication to the building and its stakeholders. Katie Toller, nominated by Freedom Trail Elementary School. Katie Toller is an active member of the Freedom Trail Elementary parent-teacher organization. She is hardworking and dedicated to the staff and students of Freedom Trail. Katie wants to make the school fun and welcoming to all stakeholders. Freedom Trail Elementary and Olentangy Schools would like to thank Katie for her kindness, commitment, and generosity to the parents, students, and Falcon staff. Thank you all for your commitment to the district and to our schools, helping them fulfill our mission to facilitate maximum learning for every student. Thank you.
We'd like to do one group photo. Mr. Meyer, Mr. O'Brien, would you mind being in our group photo? Yeah, right here. That's what I was thinking. All right, everyone. I'm gonna have you join us one more time. Yep, you can hold on to your award. I'm listening to the projector.
understand if you want to leave, so we can take like a 1-minute.
It's okay, he spent enough time with us.
Volunteer somewhere else.
There you go. There you go. You guys are very busy.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Sergeant's leaving too?
So now we have our next presentation item, which is Jeff Gordon, our Director of Business Management and Facilities. He's going to talk about the summer projects.
Good evening.
Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you. It's all right. We're good. Again, another busy summer, a lot of projects on the agenda. Many that aren't included here, the work orders and the other tasks that our maintenance staff accomplishes all summer long. They are truly unheralded heroes out there getting the job done, getting the schools open along with the custodians. So I did want to just highlight some of the bigger projects that are out there. So the first one on the agenda here is the Olentangy High School Family Consumer Science Classroom. So that is the original classroom to the original building. It has been one station short of what the other high schools have for family and consumer science. And the cabinets, after 30 years, are worn and water damage from sinks leaking and different things. So we're doing an overhaul of that room, expanding it, and adding an additional station in there, along with new flooring, which ties into the next project, which is the district-wide flooring. We did a bid, which the board approved back in, I believe it was February, and that was the main hallway at Olentangy on the first floor that we hadn't finished the loop last summer when we did the collaboration space. We're continuing that around. Again, that flooring is 30 years old, and we're starting to get some of the VCT coming up, so we're replacing it with the SVT, which is similar to what we've been putting in the collaboration spaces, put at Cheshire Elementary and at Berlin Middle School. We're also replacing the flooring at Oasis, along with restroom renovation there. And then the elementary offices at the 4 original elementaries have the carpet original to the building as well, and that's out, and we're doing the office area, not the whole building. We did the media centers last summer, Alum Creek, Arrowhead, Scioto Ridge, and Wyandotte Run. Of course, we have the turf replacement at Olentangy High School, Orange High School, and Liberty. That's has started last weekend. They've started pulling the, excavating the D areas at Olentangy High School, moved over to Orange High School, and we'll be starting at Liberty High School tomorrow, pulling the rubber off the turf. So that one also is ongoing and doing well. Chiller replacement at Oak Creek, which may get pushed into the fall based on some lead time issues we've run into. That's still a ways out, getting that chiller in. We actually ordered that one I believe it was last August or September. The board approved that purchase, so that's how far out that those are. And that, again, goes to why we bid out we'll talk a bit about Elementary 17, but why we bid that out so early. Asphalt, of course, our normal parking lot, asphalt changeovers. The couple things to note with the asphalt is the playgrounds, not just the parking lots that we're maintaining, but we've got playground asphalt at Walnut Creek, Olentangy Meadows, Glen Oak, and of course, 2 additions of bike path and walk paths at Cheshire and Heritage Elementary School. And some of those bike paths we put in a lot of cases, we've done them at Shanahan and some others where we've been able to make those walk zones, which helps us with our busing and keeping some of the buses off the road, saving miles, and our driver challenges. And then a track surface replacement at Heights Middle School, and of course the Cheshire modular classroom we've talked about, as well as then roofing at Liberty High School, Liberty Middle School, Shanahan, and Oak Creek. So many of those things, such as the tracks, the asphalt, and the roofing, will be just an ongoing every summer project to just change the names of where we're at each summer. So those will continue. The building projects, just a quick update on those. Berlin Middle School is completed. We've taken ownership. We're working on some punch list items. I think many of you know we did have a air handler unit that malfunctioned and put some water into the building onto the gym floor. We did not have any damage to the gym floor from that. We had some ceiling tile things that had to be replaced, which was on the contractor to do that and cover the cost of it, but we were fortunate not to have any damage to the gym floor. Elementary 17. Site work has started. We have bearing walls, and we are going vertical. So I was out there today for construction meetings. Quite a bit of progress. They do not waste time once we get started. And one of the nice things the last couple of meetings is we've been talking again to just talk about bidding that out so early. Structural steel and all of those things that we put in those early timelines, they're coming in on time. So that would not have happened. They're getting here just on time. So had we waited, we would not be on schedule where we are now. Academy expansion, the board approved Fanning Howie to design the expansion at the academy last spring. Design's ongoing. We're still planning for construction in the fall and to have that ready for the summer of 2024. Along with the end part of that next summer, we'll be updating the HVAC in the existing building as well. So, do we have any questions on those?
That's actually more of a comment. So I did pull up to Orange the other day, and I saw the turf being worked on, so that was good to see. I mean, you guys were right at it, right? It was like the second day after school closed. The turf was being
They're
worked on.
doing all three, same company's doing all three high schools. They've got a tight schedule to get them all in. So yeah, Maumee Bay. So they wanted to get that. And we got quite a bit of cost savings by grouping those and doing one big bid on that.
Good.
Yeah.
And we're doing the Ds?
We are doing the Ds,
Good.
yes. So that,
Just a question about the new middle school. Opens on schedule.
yes.
When do we get possession? I'm just thinking about like new folks coming in. Normally, teachers are able to keep their stuff from the spring to the fall. So how does that, what does that look like?
Well, we have teachers who moved their so the district will move books, textbooks, any of those school items. Teachers, their personal items that they take home in the summer, or if they're staying in a building, keep in their classroom. We allow teachers to bring that stuff to Berlin. So teachers in the district that wanted to were able to bring stuff at the end of the school year over. So that's open. Mr. Davis has had, I think, 4 or 5 meetings in there with parents in different groups already. So we're hit the ground running. He's been out there, and for all intents and purposes, that building's ours and open. We're working on now bringing the pallets of teacher items, again, the curriculum, science, any of those things that teachers are bringing over, reading books. So they palleted those up in the building, so we're in the process of shipping those over, so when teachers come back, they'll be there already.
Very impressive. Thank you.
Thanks.
It's not your first opening.
Not the first, and I'm guessing won't be the last.
How many have you opened?
Since I've been here, I think we've done 12 buildings, 12 or 13. Yeah.
It's great. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. All right, the superintendent's report. This is Mr. Meyer's first superintendent's report.
First report, thank you. Mrs. Lewis, she's one of my biggest supporters, thank you. I really appreciate you being here. And I do want to thank Mr. Gordon and his team because, it's just a tremendous operation with the number of facilities we have to maintain over the summer, and then coupled with the new projects that are going on. So I want to thank him. The team does an outstanding job. President O'Brien, members of the board, I want to publicly thank you for your trust in me to lead this great district. I say it many, many times, Olentangy is a special place. It's truly an honor to serve as the next superintendent, and I'd rather be in no other place than Olentangy. So again, publicly, thank you for your trust in me. So superintendent report format. So you're going to see a little change in the format with me presenting the superintendent report. I want to present the superintendent report through the lens of our strategic plan, using our 4 strategic priorities, which are up there: students and stakeholders, who we care about, resource stewardship, what we have, internal processes, how we do things, and learning and organizational development, how we get better. So first, students and stakeholders, like to recognize a bunch of students. We've had a really, really good spring here in Olentangy. From what I can remember, it might be the best spring that we've had. So first I want to start off recognizing Avinav Prem, a 6th grader at Olentangy Orange Middle School, who was one of 5 quarterfinalists from Ohio in the 95th Annual Scripps National Spelling Bee. So he got to go to nationals and compete with 231 spellers who earned spots through national competitors by advancing through their regional spelling bees. So want to congratulate him. He for sure did a great job in that spelling bee nationals. Students and stakeholders, I'd like to recognize, and again, this is the Columbus Association of Performing Arts, CAPA, announced the winners of the 2023 CAPA Marquee Awards at its annual student showcase. So we had 3 students and a group recognized at CAPA. So first, I'd like to recognize Best Actress in a Leadership Role, Helena from Olentangy High School, who was Belle in Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Outstanding Technical Execution Award, Olentangy Orange High School, the SpongeBob Musical Stage Manager Bryn. Outstanding Student Designer Benjamin from Olentangy Berlin High School, Lighting Design, the Addams Family. And then also the Set and Props Crew from Olentangy Orange High School for their work with the SpongeBob Musical. Also, I'd like to recognize Helena there, who the winner of the Best Actress in Leading Role. She will now compete nationally in the 2023 Jimmy Awards, the National High School Musical Theater Awards. They will participate in a week-long program in New York City, which includes intensive professional training led by Broadway theater professionals and industry experts. The week will culminate in a talent showcase performed live in front of an audience on a Broadway stage. So great experience for her. So we wish her well in that. So on to sports. Again, across the district, just a phenomenal spring. So want to highlight some of the state qualifiers and winners. So first from Olentangy High School, Jason, Parker, Tommy, and Hugh, who took 4th place at states in the 4x800 meter. Amelia, 6th place at states in the long jump. Camden, Sydney, Olivia, and Amelia in the 4x400 meter relay team, 6th place at states. So I'd like to recognize those individuals for their accomplishments at the state meet. Liberty High School, girls lacrosse, regional champs, advanced to the Final Four, advanced to the state championship game, and came up a little short against Upper Arlington this past Saturday. But
You know someone on that team?
Yes, I know a lot of the girls, but my daughter plays on that team. So it was a great run, and again, they made history at Liberty. Very good accolades, and obviously the deepest that they've ever gone. Boys track, congratulations to Jackson, 1st place. So he was a state champion in the 800 meters, so a great accomplishment. Girls track, we have Cameron, so she was 3rd place at states in the high jump. Boys volleyball also made a deep run, regional champions, made it to the Final Four, won to the state championship game, and then came up a little short there, so state runner-up. So congratulations to the boys volleyball team. And then boys tennis, Hamza and Jay, 3rd place in state doubles from Liberty. Orange High School, it keeps on going. A lot of great participation and accomplishments from student athletes at Orange High School. Baseball, regional champions, and to the Final Four, and today won 3-2, an exciting extra inning game. Mr. Wright was there, got to see that, and then he drove back to be here at the board meeting. Thanks.
This is much more exciting.
So we wish them well. They play for the state championship on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. in Akron. So we're rooting for them. Also, the boys tennis team, state runner-up in the team tournament. So again, they fell a little short, but were state runner-up. So we have Callan and Nikki, 4th place at states in doubles as well. Boys track, Carter, Matthew, Colin, and Sakeeth, 800 meter 3rd place at states. Nick, 7th place, at states in the 200 meter. Keith, 5th place at states in the 3,200 meter. Girls track should get a big smile from President O'Brien here. Yes, right. You were in front of her. So Brooke, Ava, Marin, and Abby, 4th place in the 800 meter relay. Josephine, Cassidy, Teresa, and Ava, they were 6th place in a 100 meter relay. And then, I'm gonna have to flip page because I can't see, they have so many on there. Josephine,
11
Cassidy,
school records this year.
what's that?
11 school records.
11
for
school,
track
that's unbelievable. Teresa and Taylor, 8th place in the 800 meter. Brooke, 6th place in 800 meter, and Teresa, 3rd place at states in high jump. Again, tremendous accomplishments. So in track, if you're in the top 8, then you make the podium, and all of those individuals become all-state recipients as well. And we talked about this a little bit, but resource stewardship, because we have a lot of assets in the district that we have to take care of, and one coming online here very shortly in August will be Berlin Middle School. So at the end of March, they took occupancy of the school. Teachers began to move into the classrooms late May there. Just finished certified staffing in the building because that's a high growth area. So since January, they've grown by over 70 students. So we had to add 2 additional certified staff there, which they've just completed that hiring. They did hold their 6th grade parent orientation on June 5th at the building. So that was nice that the 6th graders and parents got to come into the building. And then throughout the month of June, we'll continue to hire classified staff this month and then be fully staffed probably by mid-July and ready to go for the start of school. Want to highlight the grand opening where we'll have the ribbon cutting ceremony on Sunday, August the 13th. Exciting event. I know we talked about this maybe at the last board meeting, internal processes. But again, our talent management strategy and our recruitment strategies that we use for all of our employee groups, especially bus drivers, because it's extremely important that we stay on that. So the HR team and the transportation team come up with idea after idea after idea. So we're going to, this is the first time we're going to try this new this Saturday at Orange Middle School, 8 to 11, I believe. So we're going to have a job fair, but test drive a bus interview day. So I will be there at 8 a.m. on a bus. I'm going to test drive a bus this Saturday. So
I saw the bus there today.
what's that?
The bus is already there in the parking lot.
Yeah, yeah. So, so anyways, again, it's just another out-of-the-box kind of idea. We hope that it will garner some interest and that we'll get some individuals there to at least try to test drive a bus and see if they like it, and then hopefully we can sign them on for the fall.
Well, I'll say this is a question that's on a lot of people's minds. I was interviewed by a young reporter right before the board meeting who asked me about bus drivers. So, I'm glad that we're sharing this information.
Absolutely, and it's just amazing, the whole operation, because it's a huge operation, and what they do on a daily basis, it's amazing. So, and that's from the management all the way through the bus drivers and the mechanics in that division. Also, Human Resources Department and Instructional Technology will start this month conducting small group in-person orientations. So what we do is, since we hire so many individuals, and we've already hired certified staff, I think 99 to 100 already, and then we still have 30 vacancies, so we're interviewing, and we'll fill those hopefully over the next few weeks. But what we like to do is, part of the induction program, we bring them in small groups to Olentangy. All of our employees groups, especially certified staff, they're so excited to be selected to work here. It is such an honor. So we bring them in. I think we have like 5 to 8 small group sessions held in this room where we start that induction process. And again, it's part of our One Olentangy experience, making big feel small. We really want to welcome our new staff in a small, intimate setting where, you know, hopefully that experience helps them as they transition to Olentangy into their teaching assignment. So those will start this month and will be going all the way through July. This is another learning and organizational development. So the curriculum team held the annual Think Tank Professional Development Conference last Thursday. This is an annual event, single-day event focused on creating a relaxed and engaging environment where teachers are exposed to compelling ideas that shift their thinking throughout the summer. So it's an opportunity for them to develop over the summer and create some things that maybe they can take back to their classrooms in the fall and through next year. The participants heard from keynote speaker Buddy Berry, and over 30 Olentangy staff created workshops with opportunities to network and learn with peers. And it's another great thing that we do in Olentangy here, because we have so many of our own staff who create this professional development and deliver that to other staff members in the district. Also this week, you guys have heard about this. Olentangy Summer Enrichment Experience began this week. So it's a 2-week enrichment program that offers classes, grades 1 through 12, and they range from ACT prep, positive leadership, website design, to service learning and more. So 1,161 students enrolled. 35 courses, then again, 49 Olentangy staff members working through those enrichment experiences with our students. So very, very popular. Also looking ahead, so what I wanted to do is give you a snapshot of what I'd like to do as superintendent as we work through the year. I'd like to highlight like quarterly goals and things that we're working on in the district. So the snapshot there is just of June. And then for us, that first quarter will start July, and then I'll fill in July, August, and September this month, and then present that at future meetings. So in June, the district leadership team, we're planning a district leadership team retreat, again with the transition to a new superintendent and some new district leadership team members. It's a good opportunity for us to get together and establish our focus and work moving forward. Also, I am scheduling, and they start next week, one-on-one administrative meetings with every administrator in the district. So those will be 10 to 20-minute meetings that are focused around 4 questions that I gave all of our administrators to come and have a discussion with me. So those will start next week, and then those will happen over the next 3 months, actually. Also, I've been setting up meetings with local officials and key stakeholders. Again, I've already had some of those, and those will be ongoing as I transition into my new role as superintendent. We're going to finalize staffing. Again, that's a goal for sure, to finalize staffing to make sure that all of our classes have certified teachers and all of our positions are filled to support our students as they come back to school in the fall. Also, at the next meeting, Mr. Gordon has been working on updating the 20-year capital plan update. So he's going to present that at the June 20th board meeting. And again, that's important because of the work that we do to forecast out maintaining the number of buildings that we have in future years. So he will be presenting that plan at the next meeting. Finally, superintendent action items. We have the approval of 5 administrators for employment for the 23-24 school year. Brett Deal will be transitioning from athletic director at Orange High School to assistant director of transportation. Kristen Gelmy will be a new social worker in the district. Eric Gully will be our new assistant director of English Learners Program. Samantha Norman will be student well-being supervisor, and then Elizabeth Williams, school social worker. So I think we have a couple more social workers because that's part of our plan with our student well-being work and department. So I think we still maybe have 2 or 3 more to hire, and then we'll complete what's been forecasted for next year. We have 1 retirement, Tony Zioli. Tony's been a driver for us for 13 years, so will be retiring. So another reason we need to hire bus drivers as we get those retirements and resignations over the summer. 4 items up there. We have for approval agreement with Power School. Again, Power Schools are K-12 software solutions. We use a lot of modules through technology curriculum, the new student welcome center, human resources, and business management. So what we're trying to do is we use a lot of their products. We're trying to get them on the same cycle. So we're not quite there yet, but we're almost there. So that's on for tonight. And then we have 3 furniture items. And the reason there are 3 different vendors, we put requests for pricing out, and then we take the lowest bid from those different vendors based on the furniture we need. So that's why there's 3 different action items on there. And then finally, want to highlight again important dates. Test drive a bus, Saturday, June 10th, 8 to 11 in Orange Middle. We have a classified interview day coming up on June 14th here at the Olentangy Administrative Offices. Offices will be closed in recognition of Juneteenth on Monday, June 19th. And then our next Board of Education meeting will be Tuesday, June 20th at 6:30.
All right, any questions for
Any
Mr. Meyer?
questions?
So just so I understand correctly, if Dr. Wallach showed up, you would let her drive a bus?
I mean, you took my question from me, because I feel like I've pretty much mastered the Suburban, and school bus feels like the next logical step, so.
You just have to watch the swing on the back end, but yes, we will let you, we'll have obviously certified bus drivers on those buses, but yes.
Yeah, they have the safety brake on it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Meyer.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next up is the Treasurer's Report. Mr. Jenkins.
So if it pleases the board, so that I'm not all fumbly and turning to the side, would you mind if I at least did the?
You can do whatever, yeah, whatever works for you.
I'll try to make it quick. House Bill 33 right now is in the Senate Finance Committee. Some of the final hearings were taking place today. Amendments are going to be due by tomorrow. I hate this time of the year because you find little gems and nuggets in the budget bill. There's 7,000 pages and you have about 2 minutes to try to find them all. They are expected to vote on the 15th. Obviously, there's differences between the bills, so there'll be a conference committee to reconcile them. The biggest difference for us, and I'll show this in just a second, in the House version, the local capacity is still 60% district valuation, 20% FAGI, and then 20% what's called adjusted FAGI. In the Senate version, they've just gone a straight 60-40. What that does, and you have to have like a PhD in rocket science to figure it out, it shifts more of the burden local. I'll show that in just a second, and that will make more sense. So what are the key differences? The dark blue would be what we anticipate our state funding to be, House version. The light blue would be Senate. The red line is the bar of reference that would be our current funding. So what you can see is that, you know, there's a decent bite. If someone were to ask me what would I prefer, I would try to take the high road and say I'm thrilled with either version, because it's certainly $7 or $8 million more than what we're currently getting. So the delta between the red line and where those tops of those bars are. But just that little tweak in the Senate's version is going to decrease it from about 38.9 million to 31.5. The second year, we're not quite as fortunate, and I haven't been able to dig in and find exactly why we would go backwards just a little bit. But I would just remind everyone, if you were to have asked anyone sitting at this table 5 years ago, would you be thrilled with $31 million in state funding? I think we would have been over the moon giddy. Yeah. And as I like to tell my sons, when they end up reconciling what I've given them rather than what they want, you got to learn to live with what you get rather than what you think you want, and that makes life a whole lot easier. So that's pleasing. I can't fathom that we go lower than what the Senate is, and certainly if, reconciliation pulls it up more towards the House, then bully for us. Questions about that? The premium holiday final analysis, this was the piece I think that last time I chunked off the top part of this. It was in the exhibit on board docs, but the reason I brought it this time was that the top shows what our recommended, or what our forecasted expenses are, and then if you follow the funding, which is where it says, I don't want to blind anybody if I do this, so someone, yeah, the funding of the 44 million, let me do it this way, and it disappears on that screen, it just absorbs the light. So the 44 million, that would be the funding, so there's your funding all the way out. Here would be your expenses, but ultimately I called your attention to that rectangle down there. So we would like to ask the board to consider tonight as the quote-unquote second read and then approval of that premium holiday. Question, Dr. Dabrico?
I do. Thanks for reading my body language. So just a procedural question. As you look at projecting this out, we still have a little ways to go to get it down to where it is suggested. So would this be a yearly thing you would bring to us, or whoever's on the board, to say we're still here, or follow what I'm saying? We would yearly need to approve this, right?
So
Correct.
my gut would be to only bring it to you if, as a committee, we felt like we wanted a consideration to be deliberated on whether there's a premium holiday or not. So ostensibly, whatever that percentage is next year, if the insurance committee says, now we're going to let that ride, there would be no recommendation brought forth. Of course, at any time you ever want to know what this looks like, I could report that, but I would only intend, unless, in order, if it helps you out, I could bring it every year whether there's a recommendation or not. It's almost like a 5-year forecast for insurance. I could do that.
But we would need to vote on it every year.
Absolutely. There is no premium holiday without the Board of Education's approval. Yep. There may not always be a recommendation even. So the treasurer's action items are going to be the $5,000 Orange's Principals Fund, and then $2,300 for various school 018 funds. So now I'm going to continue with about 4 or 5 slides for the valuation, what does it mean, part 2. And I felt like I needed to at least take the time so that the average person, because we assume sometimes when we do things for a living that everyone knows what we're talking about. And what is a mill? What is a mill? What is a mill? And one of the most common misconceptions is it's a shortened form of a million, and it has nothing to do with million. It's an old English term that refers to ad valorem property taxes, and that's the only Latin I know, Mr. Lester. So the chart at the right just simply shows what a mill is as a tax rate. So 1 mill is the equivalent of $35 in property taxes for $100,000 of market value. Now, I didn't do $100,000 to try to dupe the public. It's just a rate. If your home is worth $400,000, you think, then you need to multiply 35 by 4, and 1 mil on your house is going to be $140 per year, or you can just look down at the 4 years and get the same kind of concept. So 2 mills would be 70, 3 mills would be 105, 7 mills on $100,000 worth of value is $245. So,
And I'm sorry, that's
sure.
market value, not assessed value.
That is correct. I made, upon the recommendation of a peer review of all of this stuff, someone said, stay away from assessed value, just go ahead and make it market, because even our ballot issues now, with whatever House bill changed that a year or so ago, everything is in market value. That's right. Yep, good point, Mr. O'Brien. So what exactly happens to voted mills and voted collections? We covered last time, but just for a review. When property values increase, voted millage, which is a voted rate, decreases. So how does that work? Essentially, a calculation is computed that ensures that the overall taxes generated by voted levies for the political subdivision don't increase. And I actually sat down with Mr. Meyer and Dr. Fetty today, and we did algebra, because it's a very simplistic algebraic formula, so that when you take the rate times the market value in one year, it has to be equal to the rate times the new market value in the second year, and you just divide both sides by the new market value in the second year and solve for the rate. That is a fancy way of just simply saying you make the millage what it needs to be so that the gross collections for the entity do not increase on voted levies. So all of that is a bunch of jumble, and when I do this, hopefully it makes it a little bit more straightforward. And I gotta remember I can't do that. So you may wonder, why did I come up with such a weird value of $2,857,142,857? I originally started off with assessed value, and that was $1 billion. So I quickly switched to market value. These numbers become nice. So pretend like a district has $2.9 billion in market value. From 2020 to 2021, we're going to say that the district increased by about $143 billion in value. That's 5%. To go from here to here is a 5% jump. Millage rates, which if we start at 47, would fall to 44.76, which is a 4.77% drop. So that when you take that times that, you get 47 million. And now when you take that times that, you get 47 million. And for those of you who like math formulas, there's the formula. We're just simply taking the market value in the district, dividing by 100,000, multiply by the millage rate, and then multiply by $35. So in the next
essence,
year.
The amount you collect is fixed.
Correct.
And the
On
millage
a
floats.
voted levy, that's correct. That's right. It's fixed on, to be technical,
Roughly.
existing properties. That's correct.
At the time of the vote.
Correct. Then the next year, if we go from $3 billion to $3.6 billion, that's a $600 million increase. That's a 20% increase. And I know that's where someone might think, wow, the school district's coffers are going to be bloated, they're going to go up by 20%. The same calculation occurs. Rates now fall by 16.67%, so that you still only collect $47 million on existing properties. So, millage rates have been rolled back or reduced. Overall taxes stay constant. So what does this mean for the average homeowner? That second bullet point basically is how you tell. You have to know how your individual home fares when compared to the average property value in the district. In general, if your home appreciated more, you'll probably see your taxes go up. If your property value appreciated less, you might not see it go up. You might even see it go down. And I'll have an example on the next page that kind of shows that. Same concept as 2 slides ago, only now we're going to consider one property. So that property, can't do that, goes from 400,000 to 412. Remember, the district grew by 5%. This home only grows by 3. That calculation for what mills are is a fixed calculation now for every home. But on that one individual home, you will actually see the taxes drop by $126 from 20 to 21. But then in 2022, we're going to hit the accelerator. Remember, the district grew by 20%. I'm going to say the home grew by 25. Most people, again, are going to think, so my taxes are going to grow by 25. They're actually going to grow. We did the calculation by about 4.6%. If I take 269 and I divide it by 64.54, that's about a 4.6% increase. So ultimately, even though your property appreciated at 25% compared to the district's overall of 20, you can see that that delta between 25 and 20, roughly, is what you can expect to go up.
Is that pretty reliable? So however you beat the community, that's what you're going to go up?
In general, the more levies, though, that you have that don't change, the more noise there is. So the next lesson, good teaser, you didn't do that on purpose. We're going to talk about inside mills, which never change. So there is a small portion of the tax bill where the rate is locked in. The other thing is we talk about no new mills when we do bond issues. Well, when you do no new mills, normally what you're telling the auditor is freeze the millage rate. So that's another piece of the bill for the average taxpayer, that if the rate doesn't change but your value does, that chunk of millage is going to allow for increases in taxes. At the end of the day, we have about 75 to 80% of our mills that adjust backwards. Only about 10 to 15% of the tax rate actually stays locked in. And that is how wide that noise gets between that 25 minus 20. In general, you can expect your home to go up 5. That's roughly for our district, roughly, but a little less. So in general, if property values increase 10%, we're probably going to see beg your pardon, if the delta, let's say your home goes up 30 and the district is only 20, so the delta is 10, you'll probably see your taxes go up 11 or 12. So note from the first chart, again, District A grew by 5% in 20 to 21, but then 20% from 21 to 22, and that hypothetical home, though, grew by 3%, then 25%, and then we saw the overall change to that home. 1 year, taxes fell slightly. The next year, they increased, but certainly not by 25%. But here's the upshot. As the first chart showed, the overall voted taxes paid to District A don't change. We are still going to get $47 million. Now, someone may say, well, don't tell me you don't get more on new property. Yes, we do. As new property comes on the duplicate, it does add. One of the things we always try to say, though, is when a new property comes on the duplicate, there's usually about an 18-month lag between when the property's done, somebody's living in it, and it hits the duplicate. And one might say, well, how's that possible? If you finish building a home and it gets done in September or October of 2023, chances are the value that's going to be on the duplicate for 2023 was clear back on January 1 when the tax lien was applied and it was just a piece of dirt. And that will be your value for 23 payable in 2024. The auditor most likely isn't going to pick up a value until January 1 of 2024, which won't be paid until 2025. Questions?
So roughly, and I know you've showed us this before, if you rolled up all of the levies, the mills we've raised on the levies, kind of the raised millage versus the effective millage, what is that?
Our current effective millage right now is 56.2 mills, give or take. The total mills gross are 92.2. So over since about 1976, when House Bill 920 came into play, and that's even with all the new levies we've passed over the past 25 years, we still have rolled back almost 40 mills to get to the effective millage rate. Now, it's exactly what House Bill 920 was supposed to do. Imagine if we had 92.2 mills and the full value we have now. You know, 920 to me is a good law. It basically says, just because my home appreciates 30 or 40% doesn't mean my tax bill should also go up 30 or 40%. So it's actually a pretty good law.
Any other questions for Mr. Jenkins?
Just a comment. I was talking to someone in the community that happened to listen to your last master class, and they want to encourage you to keep doing this because it's great to have a treasurer that was also a teacher, and I don't think you're you used to be a teacher, you're still a teacher. So great information for folks.
Well, thanks. If I geek out on the numbers, someone reel me in. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Very good. I'll let you get your seat. So do we have public participation?
I don't have any unless,
No? All right, so no public participation. We'll go right to the discussion items. So I believe we only have one discussion item, the intent to rehire a retired teacher. So Ms.
Good
Freeze.
evening. I would like to present the intent to rehire a retired teacher, Diana Lowe, as a discussion item. Mrs. Lowe has been with the district since 1992. She is going to serve as a certified art teacher at Orange Middle School for the upcoming 2023-24 school year. She is highly recommended to serve in this capacity from Principal Scott Cunningham. She's consistently been in excellent standing throughout her entire tenure here at the district. Most notably, Mrs. Lowe was recognized as the 2023 Teacher of the Year for Orange Middle School. So we're delighted to announce that. This is also an opportunity to retain a seasoned veteran teacher. As we all know, with the opening of Berlin Middle School, we have transferred quite a few teachers to Berlin, and so this is an opportunity for us to capitalize on keeping a veteran teacher in the building who, again, has done an outstanding job. There is a timeline that we follow for a retire rehire, so Mrs. Lowe's resignation was accepted by the board, and that's you, April 13th. A media notice must occur within 60 days to the board action item, which will occur on July 6th, hopefully. And this notice was posted in the Delaware Gazette on April 15th. So the recommendation to move Mrs. Lowe from a step 37 to a column 5, step 5 on the certified salaried teacher schedule will actually save the district a total of $43,349. So do we have any questions on that?
Any questions on that?
No, it's a win-win. It's great.
So we're not voting on this tonight. We'll vote on it in July.
That's correct.
So this is just the first reading?
First reading.
That's
And
first
it'll
reading,
come back,
correct.
For a vote in July.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we now have the board action items. I'll now entertain a motion to approve board action items A, B, and C, which are adjustments to salary schedules based upon negotiated agreements, as well as the premium holiday that Mr. Jenkins referred to. So could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion on the board action items A, B, and C? All right, seeing none, please call the roll. Mr. Jenkins?
Dr. Dabrico,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien,
Yes.
Dr. Wise,
Yes.
Dr. Wallach,
Yes.
Mr. Lester.
Yes.
All right, so Mr. Jenkins, could you present the treasure action items and actually present them separately?
Yep. Item A is the minutes from the May 25th meeting, and then item B would be the donations as noted, and C is the item to approve A through B.
Okay, so if we could have a motion to approve the treasure action item A, so the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on treasure action item A? All right, seeing none, please call the roll.
Was the motion Dr. Wise?
I was.
I'm sorry.
Lester than Wise, yeah.
And, okay, got it flip-flopped. Mr. O'Brien,
Yes.
Dr. Wise,
Yes.
Dr. Wallach,
Yes.
Mr. Lester,
Yes.
Dr. Dabrico.
Yes.
All right, can I have a motion to approve the treasure action item B, please?
So moved.
The donations. Have a second?
Second.
Okay, same ones, Lester and Wise. Any discussion on treasure action item B? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Dr. Wise,
Yes.
Dr. Wallach,
Abstain?
Mr. Lester,
Yes.
Dr. Dabrico,
Yes.
and Mr. O'Brien.
Yes. And Mr. Meyer, would you please present the superintendent action items?
Yes, I'd like to present superintendent action items A through E for approval.
Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the superintendent action items? All right, seeing none, please call the roll.
Dr. Wallach,
Yes.
Mr. Lester,
Yes.
Dr. Dabrico,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien,
Yes.
Yes.
I will now entertain a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code to consider the employment and compensation of a public employee. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Okay, the only discussion on the executive session is we will only come back to adjourn. We will not take any action. So with that, Mr. Jenkins, please call the roll.
Mr. Lester,
Yes.
Dr. Dabrico,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien,
Yes.
Dr. Wise,
Yes.
Dr. Wallach.
Yes.
All right. Like going to Liberty? All right, it is 7:57 PM. I'll call the meeting back to order. We're back from executive session. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Can I have a second,
Second.
please? Okay. Lester and Wallach. And then any discussion on the adjourn? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Lester,
Yes.
Dr. Dabrico,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien,
Yes.
Dr. Wise.
Yes.
Dr. Wallach.
Yes.
All right.